good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and fightbackmediatv.com. I am thrilled that you are with us today. It is October 11th. We're near the Ides of October. Ides means 15th. That's middle of October. So we have Thanksgiving bearing down on us. Does Thanksgiving bear down on anybody? We look forward to Thanksgiving. It's my son's favorite holiday. Now, I don't know whether it's his favorite holiday because it really revolves around food, or he's just thankful for the things that he's been able to do and the things that he has. I'm thinking that it's a 60-40 one way. It's a 60-40. Oh. Yeah, we're still looking for a coffee sponsor if anybody's interested in sponsoring coffee for the Morning Report and Fight Back Media. And the Swanson Report at the swansonreport.locals.net.com, the swansonreport.locals.com. Please, if you are interested in making sure that we have a delicious cup of coffee to talk to you about, that is really good. I've done a good job there. Appreciate that. It is the breaking news story is that Tulsi Gabbard, in her first episode of her podcast, has left the Democrat Party. Okay. I don't know. I woke up and I checked my phone, and that was one of the things that was breaking news. She left the Democrat Party. Okay. All right. Talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk a little bit about the Republican/conservative reaction. I want you to get what I'm saying, so make sure that you stay tuned, that you watch the whole thing, because it's important that we hear how this usually works out and what we should be aware of. All right, Colorado, Rocky Mountain High in Colorado. Mistakenly, I guess they got high and sent out a bunch of, I think, like 30,000 messages or notes or communications to people who are illegal to encourage them to register to vote. It was a mistake. It's a mistake. Okay, maybe, but we'll talk about that too. The left is funny. They are. Listen, if you're a trans woman, dude, it seems like if there is a draft, even if there isn't a draft, you will have to register for Selective services. So if you're, I don't know, if your young daughter, if your young son has decided that he's a chick, he will still have to register for Selective service. I guess the government, the military, is only recognizing two genders. So it doesn't matter if you're trans, demi male, or demi female, or I don't. There's too many of them for me to know. I'm too old to set my ways to know. I don't know. But if you are a biological male is simple. You were born with a pool cue and a couple of balls, a couple of billiard balls. If you were born that way, you must register for Selective services. Again, so I guess the government's only recognizing boys and girls. Boys have to register. We're still in a system where girls don't have to register. Now, other places in the country, in the world, have been registering girls forever. Israel does. They have compensatory, mandatory military service for everybody. I don't know if I like that, frankly, that everybody has to, that is compulsory. But I can see, I can see the benefit. Uh, I don't think I am a fan of arranged marriages, but I can see the benefit. I can see the benefit. All right. And we're going to finish this broadcast with my thoughts on just because we've always done it this way, is it really a good idea? All right. Again, my name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We'll be back right after these messages. All right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the program. We appreciate you being here on this glorious day. Again, this is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. My name is Willie Lawson. All right. I was wondering when this was gonna become a thing. I remember now. I guess I remember. I don't know if I actually remember. I know that I did it because I think I went to the same place that I got my driver's license from and registered for Selective services. Now, we weren't at the time. I didn't think that we were going to war, and I didn't believe that there was going to be a draft anytime soon. And a lot of people, it's been such a long time. Vietnam was the last time we had a draft. And if you think about Vietnam, Vietnam was in the mid 60s, more than, almost 50 years ago since there was a draft. The military since then has been a voluntary force. And it's hard, it's hard for people to, especially young people, to realize, people who are in high school, to realize that, no, that you don't have to, especially if you're a guy. Or because we don't think about it anymore. You may get a card in the mail and you're like, what is this? That means that you have to fill this card out and register, put your name on the list, just in case there is a draft. What's a draft? A draft is where the government says, hey, listen, you guys here, you dudes here, y'all come with us. You are now part of the U.S. military. But I don't want to be in the military. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we know. Come with us. What if I don't do it? Well, jail? Would you rather be in jail or would you rather be in the Army? Would you rather be in jail or would you rather be in the Air Force? Well, I hear the food's pretty good. Would you rather be in jail or would you rather be in the Navy? Yes, that works. And that's how it's worked in this country forever. We've never had compulsory military service. We've never had a completely voluntary force. Now, we've had a completely voluntary force for years. Now, a lot of people, even before there was a draft, or when there was a draft, would volunteer anyway, because people volunteer because they sort of got to pick and choose, not just, oh, you got drafted, now you're in the Army, or you got drafted, now we looked at your stuff, now you're a Navy man. But I can't swim. I can't swim. I shouldn't be on no boat. I can't swim. I shouldn't be in the Marines or the Navy because I cannot swim. On the Army because I can't swim. Air Force, fixing airplanes. That's me. Or playing saxophone. That would have been me. And I often think about, well, that was a choice for me. I didn't take it. I chose to go to college. I chose to go another route. I ain't got nothing against people who chose to go into the military and have a military career. It was good. A lot of times it was good for them. And the country benefited, and thus I benefited. But I had been wondering if there's this, with this whole gender fluid, blah, 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 What would happen? Well, here's what's happened. In the event of a military draft under the Biden administration, transgender women, dudes, would have to register for selective service. And all that means is that you got to put your name on the list. All males, US citizens, and male immigrants who are 18 through 25 are required to register with selective service. The Selective Service website reports American Military News, adding that that includes those who are, quote, born male and have changed their gender to female. Transgender men, chicks, do not have to register. While the policy was in place prior to the current administration, the White House has expressed its desire to see all citizens, male and female, subject to a draft. Other places, you know what, the old guy in me doesn't like that, but other countries do it. And I think that if your daughter is subject to the draft, then maybe you'll have a different idea about sending your children to war. Just saying. The administration supports Section 513 and the registration requirements for all citizens, which further ensures a military selective system that is fair and just, the Biden administration said last year, as lawmakers were considering whether to include a provision in the National Defense Authorization Act that would require women to register for the military draft as well. The proposal was ultimately dropped. But if you've decided that you are a chick, too bad. Got to sign up. Now, signing up doesn't mean that you're going to end up in the Army. Signing up, because I signed up, and I was thin. I was healthy and thin. I was too short for a lot of things. Too short to be a pilot. Not now, but I was too short to be a pilot. I didn't have 20/20 vision, and back then you needed 20/20 vision. Not 20/20 corrective vision, but you need 20/20 vision. I didn't have that. But just because you signed up doesn't mean that you're going to end up in the Army. There has to be a draft, and there wasn't a draft. So I did not end up in the military. But you do have to sign up, and we did have to sign up. I signed up. My son signed up. He's 32 now. He's probably, they're not going to take him. He's still on the list because he's not 35 yet. Chances of him having to be drafted into the military are pretty slim at this point. The issue of whether transgender women, dudes, are included in the draft surfaced after the Selective Service issued a recent reminder about military age men registering. Parents, they tweeted this. If your son is an only son, like mine, and the last male in your family to carry on the family name, like mine, he's still required to register with the Selective Services. SSS. Yes. Now, there was a time or a thought at some time that if your son was the last of the Mohicans, who was the last in the line, we weren't going to send him to war. We're going to carry on the family name. That's not true. It's not true. If your son is the last male in your family to carry on the family name, my son is the last male in the family to carry on the family name, as far as I know. in my immediate family, he will still have to register, and he did. There you go. But if you are a transgender woman, which means you are a dude, you have to register for the draft. You still have to register, whether there's a draft or not. You still have to register. Congratulations, you're still a dude. All righty. After the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, pro-abortion Democrats have attempted to use the abortion issue as a rallying cry to increase voter turnout in the 2022 midterms. However, as Town Hall has covered, inflation and the economy, Trump abortion, and all this stuff come to the top on voter issues ahead of the elections. And the abortion issue doesn't seem to be swaying more Democrat women to vote, according to a poll released last week. A new Morning Consult poll published Friday found that Republican women are more likely to vote in the 2022 midterms than Democrat women and independent women. In a poll, 73% of Republican women say they'll definitely vote this year, while 64% of Democrat women and 52% of independent women say the same. I understand why independent women are saying because all they really have is a Republican or a Democrat candidate. And if neither of them fit their thing, then I don't care. There you go. So it looks like it looks like Republican women are actually coming out, are going to be coming out in force. Now, this is not something that's happened in a bit. This is probably why we lost in 2020. But we'll see. We will see. And I think that this is really important. Now, I was having a conversation last night with somebody, and they had watched 2000 Mules, and they'd watched Rigged, and they'd watched all these movies talking about all the things that might have happened, and they are super worried that these things will happen again and are still happening, and they might be, but we'll have to see. And I've been saying all along, we have to go ahead and use whatever's left of our system to the best of our ability. Simply throwing our hands up in the air and going, "Oh my God!" It's like that is not the way forward. That's not a way forward. It's only a way backwards. So we have to go ahead and use whatever system's left open to us. So I found that was interesting. That it seems like abortion is not going to be the wedge issue that a lot of people thought it would be. Not at all. People are already pretty entrenched in their opinion and their feeling about abortion, and that wasn't going to change. And that wasn't going to change at all, I don't think. Do you? All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. Again, thank you. Thank you for spending some time with us here on the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. My name is Willie Lawson. I trust that you are well this glorious day. It is the 11th of October, nearly the Ides of October. And we have Thanksgiving bearing down on us, thank goodness. And Christmas is not too far away. I did a short, and I was in Sam's getting some water, and they have water, lots of it. And they have Christmas stuff up already. You believe that? It's October. And some people commented, it's too early for Christmas. I'm thinking it's never too early for Christmas, because right now we could use little Christmas right this very moment. I think so. Don't you think so? In the condition the world's in right now, we use a lot of Christmas right this very moment, as a matter of fact. So, even if that's commercial Christmas, that's fine. I'd rather a commercial Christmas over anything Halloween. I hadn't thought about it like that. That's why you watch. That's why you listen. All right. Big news I woke up to is that this woman behind me in the video, Tulsi Gabbard, has decided to leave the Democrat Party. And you're like, wow. So you want to know who Tulsi Gabbard is. So I wanted to go back and remind you of who this woman was or is. Let's see. Tulsi Gabbard is 41 years old. And I'm going to read this right from Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is sketch to start with. I understand, but most of the stuff is basically correct. Tulsi was born on April 12th in 1981. Was 21 years old. She's an American politician. She's a United States Army Reserve officer. She has as the rank of lieutenant colonel, by the way, and a political commentator who served in the U.S. as a U.S. rep for Hawaii's second congressional district from 2013 to 2021. She's a Democrat, lifelong Democrat. Gabbard was the first Hindu member of Congress and also the first Samoan American voting member in Congress. She was a candidate for the Democrat nomination for president in 2020. In 2020 United States presidential election. In 2002, Gabbard was elected to the Hawaii House of Representatives at the age of 21. She served in the field medical unit of the Hawaii Army National Guard while deployed in Iraq in 2004 and 2005, and was stationed in Kuwait from 2008 to 2009 as an Army military police platoon leader. While a member of Congress, she served as vice chair of the Democrat National Committee from 2013 to 2016 and resigned to endorse Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2016 Democratic presidential nomination. Okay. This gives you an idea who Tulsi Gabbard was. During her time in Congress, she frequently appeared on Fox News to criticize the Barack Obama administration for refusing to say the real enemy of the United States is radical Islam or Islamic extremism. During her presidential campaign, she highlighted her opposition to military interventionism, although she called herself a hawk on terrorism. Her decision to meet Syrian President Assad and her skepticism of claims that he had used chemical weapons were controversial, okay, to say the least. She ended her presidential candidacy to endorse Joe Biden and succeeded. She was succeeded by Kai Kali in the House of Representatives on January 3rd, 2021. Since ending her presidential campaign, she is taking conservative positions on culture, war issues, including abortion, transgender rights. Gabbard endorsed Florida controversial the Parental Rights Education Act and was featured as a speaker at CPAC. So that gives you an idea of who Tulsi Gabbard is, and all these things are correct. I know it's Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is sketch as hell. I know, but all these things are correct about this woman. She decided that she is now not a Democrat anymore. I guess she's using the term like a lot of people use. I didn't leave the Democrat Party; it left me. That kind of thing. Now, I'm reading comments everywhere, and comments are like, "Welcome to the Republican side. Welcome to the conservative side." Time out. Time out. We do this all the time. Somebody says, the broken clock is right. And that second that the broken clock is right, we want to reach our arms around it and say it is the most accurate clock ever. But it's only accurate for a moment. We have to be smart enough to wait. Let's see what the next minute brings. And that clock that was perfectly accurate a minute ago, it's off again. And a half hour later, it's off some more. And 6 hours later, it's off some more. 9 hours later, it's not even close. And that's what I think we should do with Tulsi Gabbard. I don't care if Tulsi Gabbard's on Fox News. I don't care that she has, seemed to have these conservative values, and that she's sort of frankly, I think she's just kind of a throwback Democrat. That's fine. I read a comment that said we need to congratulate her on her epiphany. if indeed it was ever an epiphany, and wish her well in, in the private sector. This whole idea now that she's on the team, BS. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it to y'all. It's BS. There's no guarantee that Tulsi Gabbard is on anybody's team other than Tulsi Gabbard, and she doesn't have to be. I'm not hating on Tulsi Gabbard. I'm not hating on Tulsi Gabbard. I'm encouraged that she would. I mean, if this is real, that she had the courage to stand up against the machine. Cool. Yeah. She's an army girl. She ain't scared of nothing. She's a lieutenant colonel. She's not scared of much. Good for her. Now, am I going to give her the keys to the kingdom at this point? Not at all. Not prudent. Wouldn't be prudent. Wouldn't be prudent. Just wouldn't be. Wouldn't be. Somebody commented, "Can you imagine a DeSantis Gabbard ticket?" But now you're going to put her in the White House, a heartbeat away from the president. Why? How does she deserve that? How will she earn that? How will she earn that? She hasn't. We have to stop trying to put together these political fantasy teams. And I don't know if Democrats do this or not. Although I have friends who are Democrats, but we don't talk about such things. But it seems to me that Republicans do this all the time. Can you imagine that if we had, and I hear this, and I hear this from people who are involved in local politics a lot. If we had Trump and DeSantis, and then we could have Ben Carson and blah blah blah, and just this whole fantasy team. Yeah, imagine if we had Tom Brady and his backup was Aaron Rodgers, and their backup was Johnny Unitas in his prime. How cool would that be? And then we could have my running backs. We could have Jim Brown, and then we could have Marcus Allen, and then Barry Sanders. That'd be my running back core. And we'd run the wishbone. And we'd have Lynn Swan and Tariq Hill. We'd have the best fantasy team ever. That's what these people do. Tulsi Gabbard has, on her first podcast, has made quite a splash. And I remember her campaigning and listening to what she was saying, going, "Yeah, she's not wrong." Which means I knew she is not going to win the Democrat nomination. That was not going to happen. She was not going to be their girl. And that wasn't going to happen. And right now, she may be too far to the right to be a Democrat, but she's not a conservative. She's not. She may be at some point. But Tulsi, congratulations. Good luck on your podcast. I'm sure it's going to do very well. But not just yet. I'm sure you understand. Not just yet. We have to stop doing that, folks. We have to stop with the microwave heroes. We have to stop the whole idea of someone says something that isn't crazy. If someone says something that isn't just the most bizarre thing in the world, and then suddenly they're on our side now. They're on our side. No, they may not be on our side. They're just not as crazy as we thought they were. They're not just saying, they're not standing in front of this and going, mostly peaceful protests. They're not. They're actually saying something that wasn't crazy. But what we have to do is not elevate them to some ridiculously high level right away. That's a horrible mistake we make. Horrible mistake we make. All right, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye bye now.